Hi everyone, Tally and Farrell here from Board of It, and thank you for joining us on our first foray into Dice Throne Season 1, Rerolled, a game with a hell of a long title and our starting point into the Dice Throne series. And if you are new to Dice Throne, like we were, it's a short, sharp 2 to 6 player dice chucking combat game. You can play head to head, you can play free for all, or even battle it out as teams. Each player will pick a hero, draw some cards, roll some dice, and ultimately try to be the last person standing.
Mechanically, you're going to have some smart card play, dice manipulation, and gambling. A lot of gambling. Essentially, you're going to roll dice, and you're going to be trying to make the faces match the abilities you have on your character sheet. And you could also potentially try and get numerical straights, because either one of these things will let you attack and damage other players, or maybe do some effects, but usually attack and damage because that's the point of the game. It's surprisingly easy to learn, but there's actually quite a depth here, which is helped by the fact that every character it plays quite uniquely. Yeah. So you should also know that we were kindly provided this copy by the publishers Roxley Games.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running.
Sorry to interrupt your video, but at the moment we are doing a, I guess you call it, subscriber pledge drive. And if you've seen this before, you know this is something we've never done. But we realized that in the last month, 84% of people who watched our channel were not subscribers. So if we can even get 1 to 5% of those people to subscribe, that is a huge difference for us in our subscriber numbers. And you'll also know that we've never really, done anything like this before, and we've never asked for anything from anyone before as a channel. We don't have a Patreon, we don't ask for donations. There's only ads on our channel because YouTube started running them anyway, and we thought, well, we're not gonna let them make money of us for free. And we just do this to help you find the best game possible. So if you've watched us before and found it helpful or entertaining, please consider subscribing. Same goes for if it's your first time watching us and you find this helpful. And importantly, there is a reason you should subscribe, and it's because it helps us become a better channel. The first thing is, the more subscribers we have, the more attractive we are to developers and publishers, which means they're more likely to send us interesting games that we can share with you. And second part of that is, if they send us these games, it means we don't have to pay for them ourselves, which then means the money that we would spend on those games, we can reinvest in the channel. Maybe get more equipment, better equipment, make the photography better. And these are really ways that we can hopefully improve the channel, which we haven't been able to do at the moment because our output is on the games. So please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot to us. Every subscriber we do look at and really appreciate. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. And please consider clicking the bell icon, because we are also at half as many people as is the bottom of average who do that. And again, the more people who are notified when a video comes out, the more people who will watch it, and the more views we get. And same thing for the publishers and designers. It makes us more interesting to them. But back to the video. The first thing you're going to do, no matter what mode you play, is pick one of the 8 characters. You'll take their box out. They have lovely storage boxes, by the way. Get everything out of it. You'll get a character board, a player aid, some tokens, a deck, some custom dice, and some kind of trackers. Then you'll set your health. You'll get 50 if you're playing 1v1, 50 if you're playing teams, but it's shared between the team, or 35 health if you're going to play free-for-all. Then all players, no matter what game mode you're playing, will start with 2 combat points, and these are also known as CP.
A turn will begin with an upkeep phase, which might entail removing some status tokens. Then players will draw a card and gain 1 CP. And then next up is the main phase action, where you'll get the chance to play cards or upgrade your actions for their CP cost. Once you're happy with those, we move on to the most exciting phase of the turn, the offensive dice roll. You get to roll your dice up to 3 times in an attempt to create a set of dice that match one of your attacks. Your opponent will get the chance to defend the attack depending on the type of damage that you deal. And then finally, you get another chance to play cards or upgrade your actions. Honestly, that's pretty much the game. Last person standing wins. Worth noting that different cards can be played at different times. Some might allow you to manipulate your own or your opponent's dice. Some can be played at any time, and some have to be played during specific phases. Also, there are many status effects possible, some good, some bad. Some might allow you to boost an attack, and some might stop your opponent from re-rolling their dice.
So we were sent Dice Throne, and at the time we didn't know too much about it, about the series, so we kind of went in with no expectations. But let us tell you, we've really enjoyed our time with Dice Throne. It's quite an excellent game, and we've actually racked up a significant number of plays. It's tense, it's exciting, it's fun, and it's just quite sharply designed. And although we haven't played a lot of these dice chuckers, it might be our favourite.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing you want from a game like this is excitement, and here you get it. Almost every game we've had of this has been extremely tense, particularly as you get towards the end. And even better, the system allows for some very dramatic turnarounds. Rolling an ultimate or some sharp card play can completely flip a match on its head. And this is a real credit to the designers for what is essentially quite a simple system, but it really allows for some real differences in strategy and some very memorable matches.
Speaking of differences, let's turn to the characters, since each one will have a unique playstyle, and they also come with a semi-unique deck and custom components. Now, it's terrifically fun to go through exploring each character, and actually the first time I cracked open Dice Throne, me and a friend kept playing game after game after game. Half because it was pissing down outside and we couldn't leave, but the other half because we wanted to keep seeing what the next character was like, and also because we're having a lot of fun. But yeah, they really do feel unique in their playstyle, and I think something that will be very enjoyable is people are going to develop their own metas about the game, which characters they like playing as, which characters they hate playing against. Although I will also add that I don't feel that any of these are duds.
It's really intriguing how the different characters play around with the rule set, and because you won't go through their whole deck in a single game, you'll always have more to discover about them. This is definitely a game that rewards repeated plays, because as you learn more about the characters and their abilities, you'll be able to have more interesting and intense matchups. What's also a nice touch is that each character is given a difficulty level, which makes it easier to learn the ropes or give the right character to a new player. Turning now to the actual mechanisms, we love the dice system. You have so many different options, and the gamble of re-rolling is really fun. There's no better feeling than using your last roll on a big gamble and watching as you land an ultimate attack. Even better, the card system really complements the dice play. Again, you have all sorts of different options, from using them to upgrade your own attacks to manipulating your opponent's dice and blocking them from making a powerful attack on you.
Always fun. And leading on from that, this game is all about interesting decisions. And a great example of this is when it comes to spending your CP. CP economy is quite tight. You don't get a lot of it, but you generally have a lot of cards. And it's an excruciating decision deciding what to spend it on. You could upgrade an action on your player board, but then you don't have that CP for later. So should you save it? Because that means that you have it on hand to maybe get yourself out of a tight spot through card play, maybe manipulating a dice if it doesn't roll for you, maybe blocking damage. And what makes this a kind of even tougher / more interesting / fun decision is that all the cards are just so damn useful. You kind of want them all. Because there's another interesting system in that you can sell your cards for CP. So say if you're just one short of that upgrade, you can sell a card, then put that upgrade in. But again, tough decision, because if you hoard your cards, you're kind of prepared usually for any eventuality. Maybe that's better than getting that upgrade. So we just really enjoy the kind of decision space in Dice Throne.
What really elevates the gameplay though are the status effect tokens. Some of them are unique to characters, whereas others are shared across multiple. They often provide really interesting and annoying effects, And some characters are really built around gathering up as many as possible and using them in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. They really just add another level to the gameplay, another potential strategy, and they're great for injecting some theme into your character. The unique ones really play on who the character is and allows you to really embody your character. Moving on to our issues, we do think that the game is best at 1v1. And it's not that the other modes aren't fun, they definitely are. It's just that they kind of feel like diluted versions of 1 vs 1. You know, if you take free-for-all, for example, you're kind of incentivized, and I mean, really, you always should attack the leader. So it just feels the same as 1 vs 1, except obviously one player is kind of not in it at any given time, and it takes longer to get to your turn for, I think, not much increase in fun, besides the fact that you have, I guess, more friends. If you then look at the team game, I think this is better than free-for-all. I mean, it's definitely fun to, you know, cooperate with your teammate and play cards for each other or sling insults at the other team, get a real rivalry going. But at the same time, you know, again, it's just longer and less kind of turns you yourself get to take in the game. I just think that 1 vs 1 is kind of purer and more fun and more intense and just more snappy. Turning to another issue that for us is really a non-issue is randomness. Because a lot of what you're doing is drawing cards from a deck and rolling dice, obviously a lot of randomness is injected into Dice Throne, and it's possible that some people are going to feel that they might lose a head-to-head match just because their opponent drew better or whatever. I will say I haven't found this to be an issue. As I said earlier, out of a lot of the games we've played, they've been quite close and usually they swing back and forth. Also, Dice Throne is incredibly generous when it comes to dice manipulation. You get 3 rolls, and if you haven't made something from those 3 rolls, it's usually because you yourself gambled and put yourself in trouble. Plus, a huge amount of the cards in these decks are all about dice manipulation, so you do have options. One thing we do have to address is that this box costs $100, and that's obviously not a small amount to spend on a board game. The issue is, as much as we like this game, we can't recommend it outright because of that price point. Considering we got sent this to review, we didn't pay for it. What I will say is that, as is always the case with Roxley, the production values are excellent. You've got all these custom components and dice, all the characters are different, you've got all these decks of cards. There's a lot of content here, and you also have that really elegant storage solution, which makes setup and teardown the work of seconds, not minutes. And you also have a lot of different ways to play. You've got 1 vs 1, 2 vs 2, 3 vs 3, free-for-all, and 8 characters to deep dive into with these quite big decks. On the other hand, you could say that really all this is fast and fun dice chucker. An excellently designed one, but that's still what it is. And is that worth $100? Would you rather have something that's maybe more meaty, more epic for that kind of money? Obviously, the choice is going to come down to you and if you think this is worth the money. But what we will say is that we've played this into the double digits now, and we still feel like there's more to explore and discover, and we really look forward to getting on a level with these characters where we know them intimately and we can really have tight, tense matchups using them to the best of our ability. So hopefully, you know, it's always an awkward thing to talk about, but hopefully that will help your decision. Final thoughts. Dice Throne Season 1 Rerolled is an excellent game and a great entry point into the Dice Throne series. It provides fun, exciting, tense, and just kind of thrilling matchups. And there are a lot of different modes you can play these matchups in. All of these modes, combined with the 8 different characters you get, means there's definitely a decent amount of content for people to dig into. However, it is hard to outright recommend because of the large price tag. If you're looking for a game that you can really deep dive into, a head-to-head experience, which will grow with every game, then Dice Throne really does offer a lot and it could be worth your money. And aside from the large prize tag, we don't really have anything else negative to say because Dice Throne does what it sets out to do and does it excellently. And that was our review of Dice Throne Rerolled Season 1.
Season 1 Rerolled.
Season 1 Rerolled. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And please subscribe to our channel if you're not already. And please feel free to ask us about the game in the comments. Let us know what you think if you've played it.
Favourite character?
Favourite character, that would be good to know. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye bye.